we are creating no matter what. We are creating. So, and I'll recap a little bit, okay? So, when it says I am, that was this in Aramaic, okay? Ina, ina, or some people say ina na, okay? That was later translated into I am, which is a noun, and is that a verb? But that was not a correct translation. It was ina, ina. The literal translation of that, if we would do it in English, would be I. There's a small I. There's a small I, which would be like, now that these are just terms we use, okay? Maybe the ego or the individual I, it would be the persona, who you know yourself to be, persona, okay? But the eternal I, now these are the terms we use, Christ or the God self or God, right? But there's an I within the I. So in Aramaic, the reason I even went into Aramaic is for us that have been in Scripture to help untether us from the concepts that were drilled in us that a physical man was the way, the truth, the life, the way, okay? Because the literal translation would be the I. When Yeshua came, he came to show people what it is like, what it looks like when a being, a person, a human fully incarnates in their truest source, God. And what you'll find, the deeper you dig into it, there's people that look to him, and then there's people that have learned to follow his ways. And to follow his ways is the path, is the I within the I. To look to him keeps you weak, and a God outside of yourself big. See the little twist, okay? So there's a lot of things in a lot of holy books that are correct, and there's a lot of things that were twisted in order to be manipulated by governments. Yeah. Okay? So if you ever look to the external for truth, for life, for light, for love, for your source, if you're looking outward, then like I said that time, there's a many a slip between the cup and the lip. There's a many a twists and turns that can happen because you're not looking within. So that right there, when they put things together, they left out a lot of books very purposely because it was under Romans rule, under the Catholic Church. And if you'll dig a little bit deeper and see the powers that be in this world, the Vatican's right in the middle of it still to this day. It's very, very, very relevant. Okay? So then you go, what did they leave out? Well, even when you go find out what they leave out, it's still the translation. You get lost in translation. Right. Because someone else is still giving you this, okay? So this is what I love. Okay, you ready? Okay, so this is you. And you, we're going to say, you have a field. A field of energy. You guys know by now we have more than the body that we see. There's the metaphysical body. There's there's a field around you. That's why you can feel something when somebody walks in behind you, and you may not be aware of it with your physical senses. This is the part of you that feels the atmosphere. Okay? So in your field, this is your field. This is the I. Okay? This is you. I'm talking directly to you, okay? So in your field is where you feel. I'm going to give you some keys in governing, okay? In my field is where I feel, okay? Somebody cannot make me afraid. Somebody cannot make me sad. Somebody cannot make me feel when I'm governing my field. I get to decide, okay? But here's the cool thing, okay? So let's see. Life scripts in reality, okay? In reality, the truest reality, okay? This is how realities begin to form, creation begins to form, okay? So life comes to you in a sound or a tone, okay? I'm just using terms, okay? A frequency, people say frequency. It'll come to you in a wave, okay? So life will come to you when I say life, it's energy. okay? So they're waves. They hit you. They come into your field. We're in a world, there's a lot of things that are going on, and we feel what's going on. Right. All the conflict. I remember years ago, I was telling Breck this, walking in Target, and I all of a sudden realized that I had a shirt on that said, "I love my president." And I remember feeling afraid. Okay? And never before did we have those kind of feelings with that. But there's these external powers that be that manipulate, and all of a sudden I felt afraid. Okay? So there's an external energy. External. I'm just going slow. I know you guys are really smart, but don't let me insult your intelligence or anything like that. I'm doing this for me as well, okay? There's an external energy that comes to you. This is what communication is. This is what creation is, okay? It's either coming from you or it's coming to you and through you. That's it, okay? It's energy. You are energy in form. You are, when it says the Miltha became flesh, the word became flesh, okay, in Aramaic. That was frequency, that was the tone, that was the sound. I mean, there's a page of things of what Miltha, what we translated as word, became flesh. What it meant is a frequency, a wave became particle. That's what we would say in scientific terms. Now, a wave took shape. That the God, the source of all, took shape as a human. And they translate it as the word became flesh. Okay? But it's not a good translation because a word is an image. And Miltha isn't an image. Miltha is a wave. We would say spirit. It's a flow. It's a, you know what I'm saying? It comes to you like this. It's a communication. That's why in Genesis when it says that God spoke, it wasn't the mouth of a real mouth of a God that's speaking and outside of him creation happened. It's men putting parables, putting things together to try to understand with the mind of man what creation was. The Miltha, the flow, the frequency, the wave became a particle. Literally, the I within the I became what we can see and touch and feel. Look at it like this. The Ina, which is the I, we're going to say it's the I. We want to name what God is, what source is, and we want to argue it's the I. It's the all. It's all aha, they said. It's all. It's everywhere. We can't fully define it. It's the breath I breathe. If you ask a true Muslim who God is and they say Allah, it's my very breath. Right? You can't nail it down. Okay? You can't say it's here or there because the kingdom isn't here or there. It's only to be perceived. Right? And so the Ina, the I, the creator, the energy, whatever you want to say, if you want to say Father, that's fine, but you're already given that form. And see, people began to push against that form because of our experiences with fathers. I mean, that was just the truth, okay? So Ina decided to have an experience as form. Creation. Creation experiencing itself. God experiencing itself. Frequency experiencing form. Waves coming up, and it's a beautiful form, and waves going down. You guys, that's all I've been talking about. I am the wave, okay? Nothing really is temporary. Everything really is eternal, except for the things that we're holding on to that aren't real, that aren't reality in the first place. Okay, so communication, creation, waves are coming at me. I get to govern me. I'm not just this physical body. It's not just don't touch me. I get to govern my field, okay? Now this I, the individual I can feel it and acknowledge that I feel it. Mm-hmm. I can feel the fear when I'm walking in Target and acknowledge that it's in the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. You can feel it and acknowledge it, okay? But what happens is a thought, when you start putting thought to it, the thought begins to frame your feeling. That's right. And we're all about getting to the bottom of it, getting to the bottom of it, getting to the bottom of it. It's because you're in this smaller space. You don't have to get to the bottom of it when you begin to learn this. You learn to dissolve. That's what alchemy is. You learn to dissolve what's irrelevant. Okay? So these tones, these sounds, these frequencies, this energy comes to you. I'm governing my field. I acknowledge that it's there. I'm not here. I'm here. Okay? But if I put a thought to it, in other words, if I choose a side. See, that was one of the things they got so angry with Yeshua is he wouldn't choose a side. He said, no. The Malkut is within. It's within. It's only to be perceived. It's the breath. It's the wind. You can't see it. You can't nail it down. You can't find it. You can just see the evidence of it. Okay? And so we're in a world that we're choose a side, choose a side, choose a side. As soon as my thoughts begin to choose a side, it begins to create, it frames it. Okay? So this becomes like a TV, okay? When my words begin to be released, I'm releasing my frequency now. I'm becoming a conduit to the atmosphere that was external. That's a parent that's telling their child who they are, and that's not who they are. The child takes it into their field. The child begins to think that's who they are. The child says that's who they are. And the child has co-created with the parent who they're not.
Right. That's right. Framed it up.
This is how realities are formed. I just watched this clip, and maybe we can watch it at the end, and Elon Musk is saying what they've done with this digital world, okay? This is the extreme. This is when we get to the end of a space, when this stuff starts happening, okay? An end of a timeline. Because he said with the digital phones, there is a digital imprint of our whole world, a map of our whole world inside and out because of these towers, because of our phones. Like literally they could recreate your life digitally. Okay? But then how do you plug people into that consciousness, to the world you are now creating? Well, you take control of their minds. You use them, and they become the remote control. They become the conduit. Okay? Are y'all with me? So narratives come. Stay with me. I'll keep going. A narrative comes. I feel the narrative. Okay? I can establish if it's irrelevant or if it's relevant. I can establish if there's many voices or if there's one voice. I can allow that to fall and just hear the voice within. And then I can begin to establish heaven on earth, basically, the one voice. Okay? We are here to choose, okay? Listen, I told you guys when I sent out a documentary, okay, this is what we do in our small self. We're full of information that's created our reality, and we let information replace information. And then we're like, oh, now I know. And then our information goes, it wasn't that anyway. The image is changing, okay? So when you sit through, it's not about the reason, okay, I'm getting ready to jump off into a whole lot of information in the financial world because I've got to create a grid. But in my maturity in that world, okay, in my maturity, I don't need any more information because it's really just listening to hear. So when somebody comes on the scene and they're listening to hear their intuition, they're listening to their gut, they're listening to their spirit, however you want to say it, they're in flow. They write a book. You're looking at the images from their flow on the book. It's an external influence. So I'm not saying that the external is bad, but it's a level of maturity. Okay, I'm reading about their flow, how they did it. If I just try to do it how they did it, okay, you'll have a level of success, but you won't have the co-creation from the one voice. It's like this, you guys. If you watch a movie and it's a mystery, we could all watch it and walk away with different takes, okay? But you sit down with the author and he's got it down. Yep. There's only one beingness. It's the I of all, the I that can define what reality is. But we are learning to train ourselves to sit through the information. That word information, the etymology is to set form, to set shape to. So if Sheila, if the small I is getting information that's external, it's always going to be a little twisted. Yeah. Always. Okay? You can get bits of it. You can take it in. But then you ultimately are listening in here. You get bits of it. That's where you go, all of a sudden something goes off in you. You go, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Yeah. Where'd you know it? You began to remember. You began to remember from within. Only truth, all divine reality comes only from within. This is why I just started hitting this thing, because Jesus, who we call Jesus, Yeshua, wasn't looking for followers to him as a person on a timeline where you pointed back. He was showing people how to go within, and he made it really clear. And then we began to twist it. All right. So information, energy comes into my field. The thought begins to frame it. My words begin to solidify it as reality. And then we begin to experience other people's reality. And we feel like we're a victim to, like, what world have we been created in? That's why even when you're telling me that story, I'm like, oh, it's just one story. It means nothing to me. Because if I let it hit my emotions and bring in that, it was a story of somebody else that's happening. But if I take that into consideration, then I can manifest it.
Right.
And we're at a space that we can govern and manifest one voice. We are co-creators. Okay? We're either creating from the I within, or the small I, which is the mind that gets tethered to the things in this reality. The medical system has told us how to think, and the educational system taught us how to think. And I mean, it's been defined for us before we were born what reality is. Religion and our family culture, the 7 mountains and the influences. That's why when we felt untethered, because the truth of who you are is who you are. And as you become untethered and learn to mature and just listen just to this, it's just who you are. I looked up about Pinocchio, and because I see on the webpage, and I'm just letting things take shape on how this next step looks, you guys. That's why I've been so silent, even online. But I see Pinocchio, and he's hanging up there, and it's you, it's me, right? And it's connected to the mechanics of the reality that we live in. So the medical, the educational, the arts and media, all the 7 mountains go. So here's this Pinocchio. And the whole story of Pinocchio was his maker wanted him to be a real boy. It's Walt Disney shifted it around, of course. But when he went into the depths of hell and was irresponsible, I mean, the actual writer calls him a wretched boy, like all these things, okay? He goes basically into the depths of hell and gets rebirthed as a real boy. And there's this scene, I watched a little clip this morning and he's like crying, his dad's crying. He's like, no, I'm a real boy. And basically he got his consciousness after he went through what he wasn't. After he was cut loose from the strings.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Are you guys hot? Okay. So information comes to you. We just all were watching the screen. You get a diagnosis. Whatever is coming to you, it's coming to you constantly, right? Information, waves. It's just waves. If you can see it as waves, if you can see it as sound, you can. Now, here's the deal. You get to decide if you set value to it. If the doctor comes and tells you that you have a tumor, and then you're waiting, and now the external doctor says, oh, it's benign, what are you going to feel?
Believe. Most people feel
Just because somebody else told you that.
Mm-hmm.
And they released you for the very thing that wasn't there in the first place.
Yeah. That's the thing, you guys. This play that we're watching had to get so crazy in order for some of us to see that it's actors in a play. It's their reality. It's not my reality. So during the hanging Chad thing, I knew something bigger was going on. Even when we were praying in the Spirit and we were governing, but we still thought what we saw was truth, even though at that point we knew a little bit, but maybe Rush Limbaugh was telling the truth. You know what I mean? Like we were trying to find the truth still externally. And we're pacing the floor, and now I know what happened during those three weeks. It's nothing that we were told. Nothing that we were told. Nothing that we were told. The script is nothing, you guys. And that's the programming. That's why the sooner you go and just listen. I had someone say, do I really have to meditate? Well, just meditate. Do one or the other is what I'm saying. Something. But if you remember, the word prayer is the word slutha. That's what was, any of you guys that took the Aramaic Lord's Prayer, we did that, okay? It was not them saying, give us a formula, a formula. It wasn't anything about form. You couldn't write it down, is what I'm trying to tell you. You couldn't write it down and get it. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will. You couldn't write it down. What he told them then, you couldn't write it down. It meant slutha. It meant to set a trap with your mind, is with a literal meaning. We would say attune to. It's sitting through all the realities and attuning to the one. The one, there's one. There's only one reality. And we get to be here as conduits to that reality. But we have to fall out of love with the information. We have to fall out of love with the formation. We have to fall out of love with the images that we have been bowing to. In order to hear. So when I'm saying get neutral, get neutral, get neutral, get neutral, I mean, how many times can we say it? So I'm sitting there watching it. I feel what's going on. I got tears. I don't care if I like them, dislike. I mean, it would have. You just are like, all of a sudden you see this play. I mean, you get tears. You feel the emotions, but then you don't put form to it as you listen. This is how you govern. And you don't have to even govern with words. Monica governs with sound all the time. This is sound. Do you guys remember when I'm just remembering this, when Aramaic Dale came, he started talking about, he said a being came to him and he said, we're no longer coming to you in words and paragraphs because you basically bowed down to the words and paragraphs. We bowed down to the information, to the form, to the image. It became our God. Yeah. Your doctrine, your belief system, the way your family was run, the way the government's run, being a U.S. citizen and what it means has become what we were tethered to because we fell in love with it and it became our God. Yeah. He said, and the being didn't say all that. I said that part. The being said, we're going to come to you now in frequency and tone. Yeah. If you want to govern, you've got to begin to listen to tone. You've got to be able to interpret it and then let it flow through you. The earth, the universe, the planets, the dimensions, they flow. When people say, I just asked the universe, okay, we used to think that was ignorant, but there's a flow to the natural universe. There's things that are not manipulated by lower beings. No being is to rule over another being. There isn't another God to rule over you unless you think there's another God, and then you serve under it. And that's what we've become. And I'm not talking about just in our generation. When I say it, when Spirit said it's all been colonization, we have been dumbed down and dumbed down and dumbed down for hundreds of thousands of years. But we're in an opportunity, like there's this play, there's an accumulation that's coming that's causing us to see. And as fast as you changed your mind in the last 3 years is like nothing what you have that's available to you now. That's why I said today's 7:14. It's 777. It's 21. It means new beginning. And then it's 7 doubled. Like there's opportunity. There's opportunities. And I'm not talking about getting our country back, okay? Listen, I understand who's in office in every office that you're standing for. And these, she helps run elections. Everybody in charge, of course, it affects lives. I'm not saying it's not relevant to me. It's relevant to me how this court case ends up, okay? It's very relevant, okay? But I have to go into a space of neutrality on what you say is relevant. Your authority is not relevant to me. There's one voice, and I'm a conduit of that voice, and I'm going to release this voice. I'm going to find that voice, and it took a long time to find that voice because the voices in my head were so freaking loud. It's energy. There's only love. There's only love. There's only love. There's only one energy. There's forgetfulness where we began to create. Listen, in the garden, who said you were naked? Who told you? That word told meant who informed you? Who gave form to this new reality that you're experiencing? Who informed you? Can we do it down here? Can you guys see down here? Okay, so who told you, this is a parable talking about creation. And here's to the man. Who told you? The question is who, okay? So man has a decision. This form, this creation has a decision. And what he once was one with, oh, let's use red for this one. Let's use red for this one. Creation was experiencing himself, herself, like, oh, here's God, man and woman, male and female, masculine, feminine. Here's what energy looks like in form. What a beautiful love story. We co-create. It's God, it's masculine, it's feminine. There's no separation. Okay? So the individual man, who told you to the man? As soon as the man pointed externally, the separation between the masculine and feminine became a thing. And separation was born. Creation had never experienced separation or duality. It literally became a new creation. As soon as he pointed outward. This was the masculine, feminine energy that flowed. Let's create beauty. We're going to create the garden. And as soon as that, separation. In the experience, you can't really separate God, right? In the experience. So guess what? As soon as separation, duality, and forgetfulness was birthed, the woman says, who'd the woman say? From a state of separation, from a state of forgetfulness, the feminine says, it was the serpent.
Let's just keep shifting blades.
So evil was birthed. It was even bigger than blame. It was birthed. It wasn't even there. The snake didn't represent evil. Oh, snake represents evil. Serpent represents evil. No, it was created from the separation of the masculine and feminine being separated. And all of a sudden, man, the small eye began to create evil. That word serpent means the one that hisses, a whisperer, a biter, one that twists. That's all it was. It was just a little twist. It was just a little twist. Now, in that parable, I'm sorry if it offends you that I'm saying it was a parable, but it's not literal, y'all. Come on, the earth isn't 6,000 years old. Or 10,000. These parables are all throughout. There's holy books that have parables of like giving you a hint. So, in that space, then man, as you know, we know the story very well, then man's been trying to get back to God. But it all happened here. So we create these realities, and then we're trying to find what the true reality is. That's the whole story. That's summed up. We created these realities. It's a TV. That's a horror movie on a TV. There's really not somebody at your window. There's really not somebody at your bed. You turn the TV on. Maybe you wrote the script. It's a play. It's something that you created, but it's not real because you're eternal. You're the eternal God. You're one with the eternal. You're creation. Okay? No, I'm making it real. So then everything, what was birthed out of evil? Everything that's evil. There was everything malignant. That word evil means malignant. If you were diagnosed with a tumor and you're waiting to hear, and then all of a sudden you hear it's malignant, how do you feel? In your energy field, how do you feel? That's what's going to determine what you create. We are here to make evil irrelevant, benign. When you first step into it, it feels like you're being passive. But what you do on a practical sense is when it's handed to you in form, you are this, I've defined you, I've given you an explanation in script, narration, okay? You take it and you scramble it up and you bring it like this. It's sound. It's sound that somebody else formed to create your reality. So let's go down here. You got the separation. Wow, we birthed separation in this reality. What else you guys want to experience? Listen, if you want to experience, malignant things today, you can go do it. You know, we're in a world, you can go do it. If you want to experience love today, you can go experience that. We have created a world it's the Creator is experiencing. And then we began to forget. All right. Are we there? Are y'all there? We assigned value to it. It becomes a thing. When you assign value to that, okay, so somebody calls you a stupid blah, 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 blah. You get a diagnosis and they're physical words coming towards you. You get the news is telling you what's physically happening. Their words, it's a formation coming forward towards your field. I'm talking to you as governors. I'm not here just to try to get you to get by. I'm not talking to people that just want to stay safe, okay? I'm talking to people that are like, oh, why the heck am I alive today? Oh, I get to govern. First, I'm governing my field. And then I can govern from that and be a conduit to the one voice. I can bring heaven to earth would be our language, okay? So as soon as they come to me, have you ever looked at somebody and you're just, you guys ever had someone go off on you that you have no idea who they are? We had that all the time. Like we would be moving into something and people start flipping us off and we're like, did you see that guy? I just thought he was crazy. Just listen, if you haven't had that, just go to Miami Beach. Just walk down the street in Miami Beach. Somebody that's probably homeless is going to tell you off. Okay? And you just sit there and you're like, what? It doesn't hit you. You just realize they're in their mind. Okay, so what's the difference than when your father does it? Or what's the difference when you get the news of somebody that's really, you know what I'm saying? The difference is what you've allowed in your field, what you've governed in. Okay? So you can look at it and you go, I can see that you're, you could even kind of feel it, but I don't, it's irrelevant to me. It's only from that place that you begin to hear and see and be a conduit for the frequency that there's one, that there's God, the law of one, the source of all. It's only from that space. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay, so here's my question. Think about this. Does light, I don't want to read it. Does light fight darkness? Does love fight fear? Does life fight death? Is there a fight? Is death relevant to life? No. Is darkness relevant to light? These are frequencies. Light, love, life are frequencies. They're just terms that we gave to frequencies. That's why they tried to explain God as life. Love, fire, upe. They're like, it's frequencies, okay? It's one thing, There's no fight. Darkness, it dispels light. Life overcomes death. There really wasn't death. We created it. We create it, and then we experience it. We create it, and then we experience what we created. And then until we're ready to let it go. That's what repentance, returning back or whatever, that's what forgiveness, dropping that reality. Have you had enough yet? Have you had enough? People think that just means to go move out in the woods and have animals and slaughter. That's good if you want to do that. Okay, I'm not going to do it with you out of the energy of fear. I will never do it out of the energy of fear. I'd rather stand in the middle of chaos until I get rid of the fear in my field. Because I have no authority if I'm hiding from that space. Okay? But I know people are going to be in that energy, and I know that they're going to come to me, and I want to be someone they can come to help teach them that they're the same way Yeshua did, that there's an I within you. You're the hero. You're it. So here's you. We're about to shift. Here's you. And within your hand is the conductor's rod. What is that called in an orchestra? Baton, yeah. Baton. Okay, it's not that. Okay, so sound comes to you. You're a musician. Sound comes to you. You're a creator. It's just sound. You put the creation to it and create the orchestra. You hear when things are off tune. First, it's within yourself, okay? Some of us are tone deaf, whatever. I am probably. But first, it's within your own field, and then you get to orchestrate. And you're creating something beautiful, or you're co-creating something beautiful that was meant to be. That's the opportunity, okay? So these waves come to you, but you have to go, wait a minute, I'm the conductor. So even if somebody's off tune or if it's not right, do you have to fight that? No, you're bringing it in. You're bringing it in. You're honing things in. You're changing things around. We're changing realities. We're here to shift some things. We're watching. We feel the emotions of people. When we're watching the hanging Chad and we're pacing the floor, I was in Bellingham, Washington. That's why I remembered it so well. We stayed up all night. And, I think Hunter was probably in diapers like, too bad the president's going to, your life is about to, And then you're like, by the time we got on the plane, left my mother's like 3 or 4 days later, we're like, oh, we don't have president. Dang straight we didn't have president. We didn't have government. Research it. It all shifted. There's things that we're serving today that aren't there. They're not legally there. There's things that you pay every year. They already were gone. Gone. It's systems that we've been programmed to. We don't have to fight against it once we see it. But you got to first see your own, that you're the conductor, that you're the sovereign being. You got to see that first. If not, you're going to be hiding out. You're going to be fighting this system. You're going to be fighting that system. You're mad at the medical system. You're mad at how they're doing things crazy. They're doing things crazy. Your education was wrong. Just resolve that. 3 weeks ago, we said, what facts do you know? And all we got is that there's only love. That's why the man, Yeshua, wouldn't prove himself when they asked him to prove himself. There's no need. I am who I am. We hear that. I am, I. There's only I. So, do you guys remember the chart of consciousness? You guys can take pictures of this if you want, but there's a level that I'm pulling these things back out. I want to put worksheets together for people. I've been wanting to do this for a while, just haven't time. Because there's ways that you move yourself up in frequency that what you're standing on right now, you begin to let it go. It's not that it's bad. It's not a ladder. It's not about good or bad, okay? I need, right at this point in my toddler state, I need information on this financial thing that's outside of the system. I'm getting in touch with people that are not working in the system, and then they begin to operate from above the system, like making the system, whatever that system is, work for them, okay? So, but as I move into that information, I get a grid, but you expect to let it go then. If not, you're just a robot. And that's what we've been. You're just parroting. But in the map of consciousness, and this is what I loved about it, when you start looking at, this is what I love about what Dr. David Hawkins brought to the table. This is actually from Power versus Force. Didn't you guys start reading that book? When you get to the level of love, which is 500, it's a frequency level in your body. The emotional state is reverence, but your view of life is benign. You're not affected. You know why you're not affected? Because you're the one on fire. Life's affected by you. We're here for life to be affected by us. We're here for this reality to be affected by us, not to wring our hands and stay in the effects of the reality. I see it too. I'm in court continually right now. I feel it too. Okay? But I can feel it like I'm watching a movie. I can feel invested, or I can come into that space of that higher space of the truth of who I am. I can allow more of the I to come within the I and fully incarnate, which that's what I came here to do in the first place. I came here to release heaven into earth. That word heaven is the word Shemaiah. It's Shem, when it says to pray, slutha, attune to in my name. It's talking about government. The word name is Shem. I'm talking about Aramaic, okay? Shem is it's frequency. It's pray in my intention. Pray in my atmosphere. Pray in my beingness. And we put it as name. So when Yeshua was saying pray, attune to in my atmosphere. Attune to my atmosphere. Move into the space that's outside of these realities. Move into the highest reality that's only truth. Move into that. He's given him instruction. You can't write this down. You can only follow it. Attune to my atmosphere, my frequency. The word Shem is the word for name. Heaven is Shemaiah. My atmosphere, heaven is like the sky. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know what they were trying to explain. It was like everywhere and it's nowhere. It's in everything. Everything is energy, we've decided. Oh, now we know it's true because a scientist has decided everything is energy. Well, everything was created. Everything we can see, feel, hear, taste, and touch is created. So Shemaiah, heaven, they were trying to say it's everywhere, it's nowhere, the atmosphere of God. So we're making heaven in our life. I'm experiencing heaven in my field, heaven in this world while we're here. The Creator that's everywhere, that's nowhere, that's in everything. I can attune into that. So that's why it was so good. We watched a little video, and the lady said, what we don't understand is the truth is in between the words. The divine reality is in between. If you're hearing me in between the forms of the words that are coming towards you. It's more of a frequency thing. I can see on your face when you're getting something, hear, and when your mind is trying to grasp it. Let the mind go and you'll get it. You can't nail it down, but you know that it's real. It's flowing to you. You know when someone hugs you and they're giving. And you know when someone hugs you and they're taking. You know when someone hugs you and there's innocence. And you know when someone hugs you and there's like perversion to it. Right? You know in your field. And that's the part of us more than anything that we came to train ourselves to be attuned to. But then once we attune it, we realize, oh, we already knew. We know when we're driving down the road, some of you guys that are young, most of us remember, driving down the road, you're trying to find a radio station, and I really love this song, and it goes in and out, and you're like, dang it, I really love this song. You're trying to stay awake. You guys remember those days, right? You know when it's not there yet, and you know when it's there. You know. It's the mind that wants to get another formation in that place of that formation. So just like I'm watching The Hanging Chad, which was a script they gave us, and the people that were in the script, look it up today, they thought they were in it. They thought it was true. The truth is what we watched yesterday, we don't know. And we don't have to know to govern. There's two sides. Both sides, I guarantee you, have truth because there's people in them. Right. Both sides are pushing fear because they market with fear in this reality. It's going to be this if you don't do this. It's going to be this if you don't do this. And people are doing this, okay? So one of the statements they said was the guy was with Antifa. I don't know if that's true, but what I want to do as we move into this, okay? I want you to take within yourself something that's malignant, okay? It could be from an external voice sent to you from the airways. It could be something a parent said, but I think let's practice governing from the airways, okay? So in the middle of things we know, like Antifa, I think was backed by Soros, the same person that Taylor Swift is thanking for her, that she gets to be the biggest person in the world as she pushes the vaccine, but whatever. It's government. It's all intertwined, okay? Y'all good?
Yeah.
But is there anything to fight against? Not if you're in your sovereign self. You can bring these frequencies in, and I have done it somewhat, and I'm learning to do it a whole lot more because I'm giving myself to it. Bring it into my own field where I'm in authority, and your field gets bigger, where I'm in authority, and you alchemize it. In other words, the darkness isn't relevant to me when I know I'm light. The fear isn't relevant to me when I know I'm love. I don't mean from this place. I mean, I'm burning. I am the consuming fire. Right? That's what we're here to do. So I want you to capture in your mind something that has been created from the media. It could be years ago, whatever. So all these groups, you guys know they were all created. Like we were doing pretty well. Then it's like they got behind Black Lives Matter. Antifa. They like all this chaos. They literally would go drop off bricks in towns and say, start rioting. Okay? Give people something to fight against. Keep them divided. Keep them distracted so they cannot hear that somebody external is pulling the strings. Right. And guess what? Once you begin to realize that, you don't have any more strings. That becomes the biggest threat. The biggest threat of Yeshua is he was governed by no man. That was it. I told Breck, I said, the most attractive thing about a person is when they can't be bought. That you can't be bought. You're not swayed. We're here to move into our sovereignty where we can't be bought. Listen, and this is how it goes deep into your own life, okay? Why are you holding on to victimhood? Because there's a payoff for you. Why are you holding on to that thought pattern? Because there's a payoff. That's what I mean. You go deep. You let spirit go deep and where you've been bought. Where have you been convinced that you're so small? That's where you've been bought. No man, no being can rule over another being unless they do it. And the contract is what you give your emotions to, your thoughts to. This is why on a larger scale we're seeing this played out. Everything is told about what's going to happen through movies, through media, through Beavis and Butthead. My God, how ignorant are we that we have to see it through Beavis and Butthead, or whatever their name. I've never watched it. Have you guys researched any of this? It comes out and then it comes out. Do you know why? Oh, we're going to go into this hopefully next week. Guys, there's no such thing as a linear timeline. I used to say it that time is linear, okay? This is where Spirit's just developing this, okay? Here's your life, and here's the timeline above whatever, okay? This is what time looks like. It's looped. You know what keeps you in a loop? Belief, agreement. This is why I'm telling you, what? Jesus isn't the only one? No. Go back. I know we can go back even thousands of years. A lot of the Old Testament was in the emerald tablets. Then where the emerald tablets, these were things written down. Okay? I'm not trying to disqualify one thing. I'm saying it's bigger than all of it. It's bigger than every story you've ever heard. And because we've attached our belief, man just keeps experiencing the same thing. The same thing, the same thing, and then there's a reset. The same thing, the same thing, the same thing, and then there's a reset. They said people that die and they believe in hell, they experience your belief system. People that die and they believe they're going to meet Jesus, they experience their belief system for a period. We are experiencing what we've attached our belief system on. Now get this. Your belief system has come from formation, information. Somebody put form to your belief system. That's why it's offensive to me. I know when I get in my ego and I'm like, where'd you get that? I understand that. That's just my belief system that's in the loop, okay? But from the Spirit, you're never going to be empowered, or your kids will never be empowered unless they only are able to get to that one voice. That's why I would say prayers like, let me hit the brick wall fast. I mean, maybe you're happy coming here being a do-gooder. I'm not. I want to be let's ride this thing out. Let's see how extreme we can do this. Let's see what we're here for, especially now. Yeah. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go into that sometime. Ugh. Oh, it makes me so mad. You realize I thought I was running in the field and I was tethered to a pole. I'm free. I saw a clip. They said, what is it like being in the best nation in this world or whatever? And it's in a college. And then finally the college guy said, it is not the best nation. We're number one in obesity. We're number one in depression. And he starts naming this. That we created all these diseases. And then we get so excited studying the diseases. I'm telling you, there's a shortcut. You let them all go and they all become irrelevant. Now, right now, I'm here right now in the financial thing. It's relevant to me because I don't have a grid at all, okay? And I have a little bit of seed. When I sell the house, I'm going to have seed. I got to create. But then you let it go because I'm the freaking wizard. I'm the conductor. The energy's coming to me. I have an orchestrate. I get to create. You're the creator. You passive sucker. You're wearing yesterday's style. You're acting like Nicolas Cage in a movie, the same character every time. Give me something real. I like him. I liked him in
He just likes to work. He likes raising.
Yeah, raising Arizona. But I mean, don't you at one point go, that's the whole point. Who am I? I wasn't you were never your parents or your husband. You were never that. I'm saying if your parents were the most awesome thing, I can tell you it's really, really hard. I know this from experience for a young person or an adult child when their person was their hero. It's very hard for them to get untethered and know who they are. I know that from experience. So at least you know who you're not. You know what I mean? You might think you're wandering around lost, but until you hit that. That's why even in a marriage, and we were taught to find our identity in the man, we're trying to get back the masculine and feminine. We're trying to find who God is in each other, But even in that, Those walls were blessings. Those things you hit were blessings. When you realized there was separation, when you weren't just going through the form and acting like it was good. Oh, I thought everything was good. It was good on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like when you were willing to see that it's rough, that's when people have this awakening. Oh my God, there's something else. When you reject or release one reality, that's when you can be awakened. Okay, so what we're going to do as we go into these sounds, okay, and it's you. I want you to hold an image, something that was told you. It could be personal. It doesn't have to just be from the government, okay? It was malignant. This is the tumor. It was malignant. This was the conflict. This was told to you, might have been in the media, but it created a cancerous cell in this earth, okay? I want you to hold it, and then as we go into sound, I'm going to play some music. She's going to go with the sound. We're going to just move into sound. You guys feel free with us just to stir some energy, okay? You're going to take that image and let it dissolve. You're going to take those words that you heard and you're going to let them scramble. Some of you, this is where breathing comes in. You're not trying to give new information. You're trying to make it irrelevant. It's sand in your hand. It's nothing, guys. It became something because of our consent. It became a reality because of our consent.
Can I add?
Two things. We'll start with something that you're holding and we're dissolving. I want you to see it dissolve. And then I'll tell you, and we'll move into it. Some of you may even have a problem dissolving that thing. It might be a lie, something that's been spoken over your life that you knew in here, okay? Or it might be just something malignant. And we'll shift into that and we'll help you dissolve it. That's what prayer is. Okay? We'll help you alchemize it. Okay? Because you believed that lie so strong, it became you. Now, here's what's so crazy, you guys. You guys know the Stockholm syndrome? What's that called?
Yes,
Stockholm syndrome. Okay? That's what this is. That's what we've been in. Okay? So we feel that we need to be faithful to our master who's abused us. And it feels like love. Now, this is what happens when somebody gets free from that enslavement. The fear tries to hit them because they've never met their self. They don't know who they are. And that's the part that we're telling you, that you are God. You are love. You are light. Your feelings have defined who you are for way too long. So that's the dissolving. And you don't have to be afraid to lose everything and to move into nothingness, because you'll never be nothingness because you've always been all.
Amen.
So I'm going to turn this up.
In nothing we have everything.
It's beautiful. Okay, would you guys, if you want to move around, you can, or get close to the sound. It's sound. These words are sound that took form. Is that too loud, Trista? Okay. So hold that image. It's a script. It's just a script. As we move into this, I'll tell you, I started seeing reality shift the other day. I'd be walking. I had makeup on, and I couldn't get my makeup right. And Alex started trying to help me, and I was nervous to speak in front of some people that wanted a performance, I felt. And as I just went heck with it, and I started scrubbing my face, and makeup was smeared, and I started walking in like I'm going to speak. When I did, reality started shifting, and the walls began to fall, and nothing was there but light. It's not real, y'all. We're creating.